All right, welcome to So What Do You Know About Business, episode number 15. This is the podcast where 5 women entrepreneurs sit around for happy hour and talk about lessons learned in business and in life. I'm your host, Erin Smith. And if you want to keep the conversation always going, head over to our Facebook group over at bit.ly/know, K-N-O-W, business. And you can also visit the audio version of the podcast over at iTunes. Actually, we're on Stitcher now too, but the iTunes link is bit.ly/know, K-N-O-W, biz, B-I-Z. So welcome everybody to this week's podcast. Megan is out, so we have a very special guest. And Parrish, I will let you introduce yourself first. So tell us what your name is, what you do, and what you're drinking. I know you're California time, so probably not, and that's okay. But just feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you. And thank you to Megan for inviting me today to take her spot. So my name is Parrish Wilson, and I am a content strategist. I train passion-driven entrepreneurs to create and communicate well so that they can actually connect with the clients that they dream of connecting with. And you can find out more about me at parrishwilson.com.
Okay, I have a screaming.
Yeah,
what are you drinking?
My fancy drink is water. I am on a cleanse, and there is no wine allowed on my cleanse. And I've got a long work day today, too, and I was like, this is going to be a hard day to not drink wine. But it's water for me today. Yeah.
All right, I understand. And sorry if you hear my screaming kid in the back. It always happens. All right, Taylor, I'm gonna go up to you next.
All right. Hello. I am Taylor Stevens, freelance writer, marketer, and actor and dancer. I forgot my drink today, but I could really use a couple shots of tequila for sure. But I have some apricots that I'm snacking on, and you can find me on Twitter at TaylorJoy315.
Awesome. Andrea, I'm going to go to you next.
I'm Andrea Trevelyan, and I help small business owner create more profit in their businesses so they can eventually retire. And my drink of choice today is a margarita.
Jealous of that one. God. All right, Chandra, you're next.
Hey, I'm Chandra Achberger, coming to you from Austin, Texas. I am drinking a Pinot Noir. I start with the drink because that's the most important part for me. Thursday, yay! I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm attempting to hit up the artist route. So you can find me over at chandra.com, all over social media with the same. So, hi.
Awesome. And I'm Erin Smith, and God, I pray you cannot hear my screaming kid. I am with the Starters Club, where I help people start and grow their businesses. I'm drinking coffee today because I am making it a goal to do a webinar every week for the month of February, and so I have a webinar in a few hours. And if you hadn't noticed from last week, one drink kind of sets me off a little bit, so I have to be a little careful. All right, so this week, we're going to do roundtable, not so much about lessons we learned, but we did the after show. I think we had like a 45-minute after show last week. And we were talking about value and how everybody's all about free value. I actually was listening to a podcast with Pat Flynn this week, and he was going on about how his whole start was free value, and everybody loved his free value so much that they were just handing him money when it was all said and done, which is just an awesome problem to have. So the question is, obviously, value is important. People need to see what you're about. But the question becomes, when is it too much? When are you giving away the farm when you really should be charging for this? And when, how do you draw that line? And what's interesting to me, before we go roundtable, I'm actually going to be experimenting with this. I just bought Infusionsoft, went through my second training, and I've had 2 different sets of experts tell me different things. So one is like, take 6 months before someone gets to know you, offer them value, do all this stuff before you ask for the sale. And the other person was like, screw it, nobody cares who you are. All they care about is what you can offer them and what you know. sale immediately. And so I'm really interested to see what truly pans out, and I'll be testing out both of these things. Like, you come in and I'll give you a freebie and then, show you what I have available to purchase, versus you come in and you're going to get to know me for, 4 to 6 months before anything even happens. So I'm really going to be interested to see what pans out and where, I get, I guess, I don't want to say better customers, but closer customers, like who really know and trust me and believe in what I have to offer. So it's going to be an interesting experiment. So Parrish, we're going to start with you, and we're all told to give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away, and people will buy. And as a business owner, I'd love to know your thoughts on it, where you draw the line, and what's made you come to that place where you've drawn the line.
Well, this is an interesting topic for me because I deal in content. So I specifically talk to people about how much they should give away, in essence. And I also come to it from a place of creativity. So for me, it's like, give whatever you feel like giving that day. Give wherever you're at. And, you sit down to write a blog post and just write it and make it awesome and tell them what you really know. And, it's also like you don't want to drive them crazy by giving too much content in one go. But, yeah, just give it away. Just give it away, and the right people are just going to love you, and they're going to come to you, and they're going to want more of you. I think the time to draw the line is the in-person, the one-on-one, when you're giving it away, when people are like, hey, let's meet for coffee, and I'm going to ask you all the questions so you can solve my business. Well, no, that's a consultation, and I charge for that. But online in our content creation, just love it up and send it out, and that's how you build yourself up, and I think that's how you have fun doing this.
Yeah, I think when it comes to requiring your personal time out of your day, that's when I feel like it is right to charge, because time is something you can't get back, and if it's a big chunk of time and you're putting one of your most valuable assets, your brain, out there for, I don't know, an hour's worth of your time, and people are consulting you, they're consulting your expertise and your knowledge and your experience that they would pay someone else for. So that's when I think that you should charge it. But I think there definitely has to be a trial and error process of what content you should give out for free and how people respond to it. I don't know. I think that's what happened with Pat Flynn, is he kept putting stuff out there, and then people were willing to give him money for stuff. So then going off of that, springboarding off of that into his next venture, he knew what he could charge for and what he should give away.
Well, but so to this point, I made a mistake originally when I would run my webinars, because I would give away everything. I literally had people being able to walk away from my webinar and could give me testimonials about how the information I gave them on my webinar changed their life, which is amazing. But there's a line. When I give somebody so much information that they don't need to buy my product because they already have 6 weeks worth of to-do lists because I've just given them so much, that's a line. And I learned at my sales training thing where it's like, you're giving away too much, because I just was like, and everybody loved me. They loved me because I changed their life for social media, but then they didn't feel the need to buy from me because they already had a whole long list of things to do to implement, so they didn't need my product. And maybe I didn't sell it right and didn't sell the value to that. To my defense, I didn't do it perfectly, but it's just interesting to me where somebody's like, no, you're giving away way too much. And so this whole argument is interesting, where maybe you are giving away too much if people are knowing you, but are you selling yourself short because you are giving away too much? I think becomes the question for me too.
That reminds me of Marie Forleo's B School that she always puts out there every year. She gives a lot of good stuff and a lot of good tools to get you started, but there's nothing that compares to being able to talk to her in that B School, and I guess just connecting with all those people. And I think that's where the value needs to be sold is you're going to get more time with me and even more of this inside knowledge.
You never see Marie, though.
I know, and I've never bought it, but like that's how she sells it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's kind of like a moralistic thing here too, I think.
Yeah, and I think this entire this whole question really depends on where you are in your business. Like as far as how long you've been doing whatever it is you're trying to sell and what you're trying to sell, right? So like if you're catering to people who are very much in the beginning of business, they are not, you have to train them to buy stuff, right? Like so they don't know what they should be buying and what they shouldn't be because so much stuff is free, right? And so like that comes into the question, like they don't really know how to value it, and so that's why you come to Marie Forleo, and all those guys sell community, right? And they sell their community, and that's what they basically build on. So like they do give a lot away in even before you buy the courses. And there's also the other thing of psychology wise, like people need to see you. It used to be like 7 times they need to see you before they even like buy something from you, and now it's more like 14 times and growing because we're just constantly in front of people, right? I mean, like through social media, wherever you are, wherever this person lives, you just need to get in front of people a lot and provide the value. So I don't know, you know, it might feel like you're giving away too much, but like it might be like a time thing, right? Like you give a webinar and you just have it be like 20 minutes, right? And so you give value, but you break it up over time, and then you're just very clear on what you're selling. And usually I know almost all the information products that I end up purchasing, I'm buying the community, right? I'm buying like, okay, I get an hour one-on-one with this coach who would be whatever. I mean, so much money to get, it would be almost impossible for me to get in front of them without spending, you know, thousands of dollars to go to a conference or whatever. And if I see that opportunity to have a one-on-one call, I'll spend money on that because I can get in front of that person. So that's basically, you have to just know what you're selling. And then also, I mean, just audience, you have to know your audience before you put stuff out there, because different levels of business or anything, I mean, within anything, are going to value learn time and coaching time. They're going to value those things very, very differently because they just don't know, right? I mean, like, they just don't. So it's never, I don't think it's ever a waste, but it's just like if you want to spend the time coaching them on what the value is, you have to keep on reminding them how much value they're getting out of this and be like, oh, this is worth this here or this here, right? But I mean, it's so business like specific, right? It's business and where you are on that timeline and where your audience is on that timeline. It's so specific to each individual that it's really hard to be like, okay, we should only give this amount for free or not this, and what, you know, what is it's hard as going into the art industry. I'm just like, I have like original paintings and I'm just like, what do I price these at, right? Because they're, you know, it drives me crazy when I see some photographers sell their pieces for $25, right? And I'm just like, there's no way, you know, I'm going under a couple of hundred for limited editions and things like that. So it's depending, so industry specific, and being like, what's my value for it, and whatever I value it at, I have to find the audience that's going to value it at that or more regardless. I don't know. Did that make any sense? Should I drink more wine?
No, I get it. I was going to say,
no, yeah, I get it. I do agree that it's totally not even necessarily industry specific. I think it's company specific. But two things that I think play really, really big into it is before you start chucking out free content, you already have to have thought about a monetizing strategy, Because if you're just giving everything away and then stop and go, oh, wait a second, how am I going to make money? Then it doesn't work. And I think the reason it works for Pat Flynn is because his monetizing strategy is affiliate sales. He can give it away all and say, I used X, Y, and Z, and he still makes money. Now, he's changed and adapted that because he realized that's not the only way to do it. But if you just start giving away stuff without knowing how you're going to make money, then that's not always great. And I don't remember where I heard this from, but somebody said the content that you give away should be like the why, and then the content that you make them pay for is the how. And I think I think that's a really good guideline. Obviously, sometimes in some industries you have to give away some of the how, but I always follow that, like when I'm coming up with blog posts and stuff, and I'm like, okay, can I explain enough of the why and some of the steps without giving away the farm? And I know also from like my perspective, like my one-on-one clients don't come from my mailing list. I have people who have been on my mailing list for years who've never bought a thing, but they love my content. They email me. They're like, they want the free stuff. My people who pay me one-on-one have a need. They research who they want to do it. They look at my information to make sure I know what I'm talking about, and then they schedule a session and pay. It's like they're motivated. The content there is to show them, hey, it's good. The content helps attract them, but they're not there for all the free stuff that they can get. So I think that goes back to you have to know your audience.
I was also going to add too that, oh my gosh, why is it leaving me? Why is my thought leaving me? Oh, people people are always willing to pay for recorded content or just give like stuff that you've already packaged for people. Like people love owning stuff. I think that's a really good opportunity to charge for your content too. I mean, it's just like what you've organized that people don't really take the time to organize, or they just want to own audio and then listen to it later. Like people always highly value that. I always see sales with that stuff.
I couldn't agree more. And I found myself this year, I purposely didn't budget a lot of learning things for me this year because I've spent the past 2 years really head diving into just as much as I can learn about different things. But especially being a mom, just a busy mom, I have found if I can't get the course all at once, I'm not going to purchase it now. And I have a couple of friends who have like really great courses for different things, a copywriting course, different writing and different courses that I think I would really enjoy, but they're like 6 to 8 week courses and they're like once a week, and I need all my information when I am, up at 3 in the morning. I have a couple of bouts of insomnia. I want to be able to blow through a course and be able to have it. Like I want to buy that package, the audio, whatever, and know that like my time is being saved. Like that's my most important asset, right? I'm like, I realize that at this point in business, but I love that, packaged up already, and that's just the way I roll now. Like that's how I roll.
I have a question for everybody else. A lot of times you hear the saying, you get what you pay for. And I know, at least in my industry, there's a lot of free stuff that's absolute crap. So where do you guys think quality falls into this whole equation, just across the board? Because I think the more that content is promoted, the more that people are saying content, the more crap that just keeps coming out there. What do you guys think?
I don't think that's anything new, right? I mean, like how many books are out there? How much stuff is out there that is just like, there's always going to be the people that are just going to try and get the numbers, right? They're going to try and sell 1 million things at $1 rather than have a community that's just going to follow them for life. right? And this falls into what we were talking about last week.
At least back in like 1988, there wasn't WordPress, you know. So like now it's literally that. Back then, the person actually had to like go to some effort to produce the crap. Now it's just
right.
like,
So there is more out there, but it's just like, but it also like eliminates an entire group of people that you don't want in your audience anyway, right? Like there are a group of people that will never pay for anything. Right? So there's tons that you can just be like, hey, look, here's all these free resources, and they're not part of an audience that you want to work with, right? So like it is hard but that's a reflection on the person. Like they're not going to have followers for life, or maybe they will. They'll just keep on having people that they'll never make money out, or just have tons of people that are coming in and never be seen as an expert, right? Like they'll just be known for the person that puts out crap, I think.
Well, and it's sad to think too that there's so many people out there that buy into these people that really don't know anything what they're talking about. So it's like, how do you save those people? I mean, I guess it really comes down to testimonials, but even they can put up testimonials that say great raving things. They may not even be true. So it's like, it's kind of a nasty cyber world out there. It's really, you just have to, it's really reflecting the actual world we live in. I feel like online and offline are getting more and more merged.
Well, and I think that it also speaks to why we do have to give as much free content as we do give to build relationships, to end up positioning ourselves as an expert, and to end up, you know, being somebody who actual people that we like might interact with us, you know, because then we actually have smart people. If they're engaging our content and it's high quality content, and then they choose to build some relationship with us, then at least we know we've got the right people there. You know, we've got the people that we want, and the more that we put out, the more we get those people, and the more we refine those people, right? Because you might put a post out that's a little bit, you know, a little bit risque or a little bit controversial, and then it's like, great, you just knocked off a whole bunch of people that aren't your people, because now they hate you. So, you know, it's such a beautiful way to really massage your audience, right?
Well, and I agree with that, and I think the question becomes too. This is an interesting viewpoint, and I've had this conversation with JJ several times, and it's like there are going to be people who are in my tribe who follow me, who adore me, who talk about me, who it sounds so like narcissistic as I'm saying this, and I don't mean it like that, but who follow me that will never buy anything, and I have to be okay with that. Like if they're, you know, and I have to be okay with that. Like I can't be, because the reason why I got into this business is to help change lives, right? So if I'm changing lives on a level that they're like, well, I don't feel I need to buy for, and maybe they can't afford it at this point, or whatever it is, maybe I haven't, whatever it is, I think we all have to be okay that there's going to be those people, and it's like a hard thing. Well, if you don't buy, or if you don't, like, I don't understand the people, if you're not responding to me enough, I'm going to kick you out of my email. I don't get all that at all, because it's like, if you just happen to read an email here and there from me and you're good with that, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not going to kick you out. Like, if you're happy, or if you never feel like you have to buy something of mine, like, you know, you like what I have to say, but there's just not this need. You know, I can't give away the farm, obviously, from that perspective, but it's interesting, too, as this topic's going, like, if they're not, you know, do you weed them out? But there's going to be some people that never leave. They love you, and they're passing your information on to other people. They just never have a need to buy from you. And I think as an entrepreneur getting into whatever you're getting into, you have to be okay with that too.
Do people really kick people off of their list just because they never buy?
Yes. Oh, I got into a huge debate about this with John Lee. I was in John Lee Dumas's mastermind for like 3 months, and he kept sending me emails like I wrote a whole blog post about this, because I kept getting emails from him saying, you're not reading my blog or my emails. Do you want to be on my list? Do you want to be on my list? And I saw it at a stoplight, And I was going to be like, screw it, like, I don't have to, because I never read I never read emails, but I read headlines. And if there's something that goes by at a certain point, I'll buy. Like I literally in my blog post wrote, I've spent over $4,000, it was last year at the time, on emails for people I never read. But it's like that title comes through just at the right point at the right time, and I'm like intrigued, and I open it and I'm like, buy. Because the thing is, I don't read your emails because I already know where your blog is, so, or I know what your podcast or whatever it is, so I don't need to open an email for you to tell me where to go. I already know where to go. But this is like a whole new trend. If you're not active enough on my email list, then they'll kick you off. Chris Brogan's a huge proponent of it. He talks about it all the time. Go ahead, Chandra.
The reason for this is because Google dings you, right? So if you don't open, like seriously, basically the mail servers and Google as a whole start seeing you as spam. If you are if your emails keep on going out to people, and I'm terrible at this. I have, I have Unroll Me came up today, and it was like, you have 1,366 things you should unroll from, right? And it's just like, whatever. I just, once every 2 months I do email bankruptcy, and I'm terrible at it. And I have actual courses, and even I'm in a couple of Chris Brogan courses where I'm sure I've gotten like dinged off, but I still, like I pay every month or whatever, but it's because you get really, if your emails go out as a company owner, if your emails go out to people that keep on, that don't do that, you get dinged pretty hard from Google because they want to avoid having any spammers, right, like on their list, and that's why people do it. Although it is like, it's annoying, right? Like from a receiver end, like, because that's the way I treat email as well. I kind of am like email phone phobic. I don't know how. I'm waiting for like the telegraph to come, or not the telegraph, but like total like 3D people to pop up, and that's how I'll communicate with them. But that's why companies do it. But like, you need to know. I think like if someone's definitely paying you money to be in a group or whatever, like just let them be. It's just annoying. Like I think it's totally annoying, and I understand why they do it. But yeah, it's just like, let me be.
They need a better email marketing strategy. That's what's annoying. It's like, stop sending so many emails that aren't filled with value. Maybe you could give someone something to look forward to, like a TV. Like, that's how TV programs are. They build it up. Well, I guess not during the season, but like, like, okay, Monday nights I'm watching this show and I can't wait to watch this show. It should be the same way with email. Like, I don't know. I get really annoyed with how many emails are sent out these days, because it's like I can't remember how much stuff what we see, but like the overload of noise that we encounter every day, it's just like overwhelming.
But it's a hard line too, because you don't want to go away, and then all of a sudden, 4 months later, you're like, hey, I have something important to say, and people are like, who are you? Because you don't want to go away. But okay, Brendan Bouchard, obviously you guys know I love the man. Like, I mean, I'm very much in love with him, not in that kind of way, but we get it. I don't read every email. I love what he has to say, but I have a life. I have a job. I have 2 kids. But I'm waiting for certain courses to come through, and I don't read his emails enough. I mean, I'm sure he would love to kick me off his list from he's paying for me, but I'll give him money all day long. Like, I mean, it's crazy, but I just don't have time to read your emails, even if they are the most amazing content-filled emails ever in the whole wide world. I don't have time to read them. I can barely find time in the day as is to fill in everything I need. I'm usually reading a book or something else. And that's where that sucks that they get dinged from Google, or I realize their email subscribers are paying a lot of money. You're paying more money for people on your list, but it's a hard line, because I truly love some of these people. I'm on their list, and I'm on their list only to watch for events to come through. That's all I'm on their list for. Even though I know every email has something amazing to say, I just don't have time to read them all.
I wonder, I mean, like, just thinking this all out loud from everybody, it would be a good email strategy to just create a list for like event people, right? Like, I mean, if I was him, and I'm sure you're not the only one in the audience, right? Like that adores him, has been to conferences or whatever, like it's just food for thought for our own email lists, right? Say, okay, this is for the person that and you see that, you used to see it a lot, but I only want the once a month newsletter, right? I want the once a month email to know basically what's going on. I know with my own community, I have used remind.com, and it's basically like free SMS. So marketing, and people, you don't get the person's phone number, you don't get anything, but like when I need to get in touch with certain lists, I can just send out like a picture or a link, or basically when I do a challenge, and it goes straight to people's phones, and I don't have to pay for it, but which is super nice because it's set up for student and teachers, and that's the whole other thing, and that's mobile marketing, which is where I see all of this going. I mean, everybody pushes email, list, but like Andrea said, like how many sales are you getting from that list, right? Like when you look at you look at clients or whatever, you have to they have to correlate, and if they don't, then you need to find a different way to get in touch with the people that are really going to buy from you.
I for one am on very, very few lists. And the ones that I'm on because I actually want the content, because it's quality content. And anytime I'm ready to buy something, I go searching for what I want, or I see it on social media. So, yeah, I think quality is huge, but I'm kind of with Taylor that it has to be really good when it's going out. Like, for example, just this week, I clicked on an ad in Facebook for a webinar that was supposed to be tonight. It is tonight. But
are you talking about mine, Andrea?
No, it's not yours.
Okay,
sorry.
Okay. Well, no, I thought you were gonna like rip on it, so I was gonna say, watch your words. Okay.
I would have called you first.
Okay.
So I go to the landing page. She has the date of the last one at the top, the date and the time, but she's updated the ticker thing. And so I like submitted and everything because I could figure out when it was based on the ticker. I get the confirmation email. It says, click here again to reserve your spot. Then the next day I got another reminder email for the wrong date again. Then finally she like caught on after like 4 emails, changed the dates and everything. The reminder emails for today, like the first one came out at like 8:30 or 9 in the morning, and it said we start in an hour. The webinar isn't till 7 p.m. And then in there, she wanted me to sign up again to reserve my spot. And then at like 5 o'clock, I got another 1-hour reminder. And at this point, I've already unsubscribed from her because I'm like, okay, seriously, people, let's focus on quality. And you expect to make sales off of this, and you just paid for all this Facebook advertising. And, so she thinks she's out there doing all this content, and it's just not going to work.
Organization is key. I wanted to kind of throw this in there. That's awful, by the way, Andrea. I would be pissed off.
Well, just read your own emails. Like, I am on my own email list, so I get the emails when they come out.
Do better scheduling. Get an assistant. Anyway, what I was going to say is what just occurred to me, really, when we were talking about like which content you should give away for free, or like how people value your content and how you like appear credible, and what if you should buy or not. That conversation we were having a little bit ago, it occurred to me. It's just so funny. Well, one, you can always leverage influencers, but I think it'd be really cool thinking about this now, because what I'm experiencing by being in LA and like really trying to get myself into that dance world and like seek out the opportunities and meet people and all that stuff. And this applies to any industry, but it's really all by association, like who you're associated with, who you appear in pictures with, or who you appear in communication with. It would be really cool if more people online, especially content marketers and people that write articles, if they would just link to other people's articles that like have like if one content marketer has like a lot of followers and they're really credible, if they were to link to like one of their friends who also puts out good content and just like put like a little blurb about, hey, like if you want to read more on this topic, like look at my friend's stuff, like they're really great at explaining this. Like I think it'd be cool if there was more of that, like I guess more of like a sharing economy in the online world. I don't see that too much.
Yeah, but they're going to wait till they get credit for something. Is what I mean, that's what the whole basis is. That's the whole JV partnering. You know what I mean?
Unless you're all
not even an
BFFs.
affiliate thing. Like not even affiliates, just I don't know, just to like show that there's good content and good value.
Just to be kind to one another and put more goodness out, like, hey, This is awesome and you should actually check it out. I'm not getting paid for this, like just because it's great, right? Yeah.
Chandra, are you going to say anything? I see you're unmuted.
Yeah, I wanted to, I want to jump into the wall behind Taylor because that's a mattress there and like it's driving me nuts. I just like totally my ADD is like,
I know.
I just want to like run and jump into that wall.
It is a mess here. We're unpacking and I'm like insane today. I didn't even know if I was going to get on this call. I've been going crazy.
I love it. And I was going to say something actually relevant, I think, but I forgot because I am ADD.
It was about anything about being nice to other entrepreneurs without trying to make money.
No, not that. No,
that's ridiculous.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. 100%. Like, just be a resource, right? I mean, that's where the truth of this whole conversation is, like, provide value and also lift other people up, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of the point of this entire show, right? Like, so we can like help each other out and get different perspectives and see different things. Yeah, but I did totally. I was on something Andrea was saying, but I forgot. So sorry.
Well, and I just had something like that happen through my email. Like right at the end of the year, Megan Flatt put out this planning webinar, and I did it. And I was like, you know what? That was pretty great, and I think a lot of the people on my email list would like that. And I sent it to them, and I added a different like yearly, quarterly, monthly template that I created that worked the way my brain worked. So I was like, here's Megan's free video. Here, you'll get the link to her free template. And here's my free template that I made because it's the way my brain works. And here you go. Have it. Like, Happy New Year. Have a wonderful New Year. And the response that I got, my open rate was big, my click rate was huge, and I got actual emails back from people saying, thank you. Like, that was so wonderful. That's exactly what I needed. And it was like, it wasn't my content. It was the middle of the holidays. I wasn't writing a blog post, so I didn't have anything of mine to send out. And it was like, fabulous. Here's a wonderful piece of information that I can give people for free, and I'm not an affiliate. I'm not, it's just like, yeah, I want to support other people. She supports me. I support her. It's beautiful, right? Like, that's the way we should all be growing.
No, I agree. And then to that point, though, I know my stress factor is like, oh my God, how much like amazing stuff do I need to come up with? You know what I mean? It's like, and I guess like it's just that one email that's awesome, but I know there's this pressure like, okay, I got to do a video. I got to come up with some amazing guests for my podcast, and now I got to come up with an amazing email because I don't want it to be the same as everything else. And then it's like, how much is too much from that perspective too? Because there's this pressure, like, oh my God, I got to wow these people with this email, and I don't know. I mean, maybe sometimes I do, but I don't think I do. I don't think I hit the nail on the head every time.
Well, I think that's where, I think if you go back to the original kind of thing that we were talking about providing too much value, I think what you're talking about right there is where you do get into the conversation of, okay, how much is enough? Is one blog post enough? Do you need to do a blog post, a video, and 2 blogs? And I think that kind of the dividing line, I think there's been the big push for content, and like you just said, is you're stressing and stressing, and I guess a really good thing to do is, like, if you're stressing about putting out quality, then you're giving away too much value because you're draining your brain.
Well, I don't think you're giving. I mean, I don't. Well, I don't think there is too much value, right? But I do think there is like too much. I think we're like, it's semantics, but like, you don't want to give away the cow for free, right? Like, you don't want to give everything away, but I think this really comes down to having a business plan, right? Like, how are you going to monetize it, right, Andrea? And also, like, know your audience. And I can't stress this enough, and anytime I've done any type of consulting, this is usually one of the last things people work on. Like, you work on branding, you work on sometimes your business plan, but sometimes you drill down onto a monetization plan. And then the audience is one of the last things, and it really needs to be up there before you even brand, right? Like, you need to know your audience. You need to know who is going to give you money for what you're putting out there. And then there is never, and then there's not too much value, because those people will see that you're, at least the type of people that we are all looking for in our separate businesses are real people who appreciate your time, who find value in it, and are willing to give you money for that because they see the value in it, right? So you can give a lot away for free, but also, like, creating evergreen content and seeing when you see somebody is good at something, like we were talking about, like collaboration, like, somebody has already created that content, right? Like, just give them a shout out and be like, and you become the connector in that, right? You become still the forefront person in your audience's mind because you're hooking them up with someone who's created that content, who is good at what they do, right? Like, that specific thing. So I don't think there is you can never provide people with too much value, just like you can never be like, well, I guess you can be like annoyingly friendly, but like, you can never like network too well, right? Like, you can never be like the two, I don't know. I think
I've got a question for you, and this might just be your definition of value or our value, but if you can't give away too much value, at what point in your audience not being able to process all the stuff coming out, is it too much? Taking Erin, for example, who doesn't read her emails, how much value do you really need to be kicking off? Or is that just a completely different issue?
Like, value and content are not equivocal, right? Like, that is not an equal thing. Like, the value that you're providing isn't necessarily the words that you write down on the paper. It's the amount of, I mean, like, you need to look beyond the actual content. Like, the content needs to be valuable, yes, but like, the value is in the time that whoever the person, it all comes down to time for me, right? Because that is the one thing you cannot buy. You can buy everything else, but you cannot buy time. So if you are saving me time in any form, like on lifestyle, on parenting, on business, on whatever, I know I can find whatever I want on the internet for free. Like, anything that I want, I can find. It's just going to take me hours and hours of research to find it. So if with everything that we do, the value is time. So the content that you are giving out, like, it's not just, I think we look at it the wrong way, especially when we're starting a new venture. We're just like, okay, we need to provide all this content. And it's what the value is the condensed, right? Like, and just be like, okay, I'm giving away 3 or 4 webinars that are not an hour long, right? Like, because in an hour you can do, or 45 minutes, I mean, like half an hour or less, 20 minutes, this is what you get. and they do walk away with feeling like the person walks away feeling like they know something more that can help them out, and they want to come, but also wanting to come back for more. Like, right? You don't sleep with somebody on a first date, right? Like, sorry, young
Speak
people.
for yourself, Chandra.
On.
What? But I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like we can't think of value and content as like equivocal, and I think that's like a main takeaway. And also, we need to provide like evergreen content. And Parrish, I know you're a content strategist, right? Like, you need things that you can pull from like constantly. So figure out what is at the top of your pyramid. Like, if it's video, from video you can take out audio, from audio you can take out transcripts, from whatever. Like, what is at the top of the pyramid? This is the topic that I'm talking about, and then the value goes out to the people. But the how, like the why, is explained, like you said, Andrea. You know, like I just totally thought of Simon Sinek's golden circle, right? Like, the why is in the middle, because that's how people are going to connect with you. The why is never ever going to change. It's only going to be, no matter what venture you go to, your why is going to stay the same. And then on the middle is the what, and then on the how is on the outside, but the core is always the why, and that's how people connect with you. And then those other things are just bits and pieces that go out, and then they purchase something that is how you do it, right? Like, or like an actual physical product, and be like, okay, how do I do these Facebook ads? How do I do a podcast? How do I do this? Because I feel the value, you've given them the value of like understanding what the value of having these things are, of saving for, of starting an IRA, of investing in certain things, right? Like, you've given them that idea of being like, wow, I really need to start thinking about this. Now, how do I do that? Oh, I know the perfect person, me. I can help you out with that, right? So.
No, I agree. Well, we're after our time, so I think it's a great conversation. I think it could definitely go on longer, and it's just interesting to me, because I know, especially, I mean, I'm not very long into my business, and I felt this pressure just to like blah out content, and kind of killing myself. Well, I was killing myself, so still kind of killing myself, but that's okay. But anyway, all right. So again, if we'll keep the conversation going, we'll talk content over in our Facebook group. So join us over there at bit.ly/KNOW business. And again, we'd love a rating and review if you want to head over to iTunes at KNOW, bit.ly, KNOW biz. All right, ladies, thank you so much. Another incredible conversation. And until next Thursday, Taylor, I feel like Taylor.
I'm totally looking up at Taylor right now. She's just like,
all sexy.
coming to you from LA. Hey.
No.
Oh my God! Yeah, you guys, I'll get it together next week. I promise.
I feel like we need to do. So, what do you know about business from the bedroom next week? You could come back for that. Yeah, you could come back for that one.
Oh my God! Attention! What a good headline.
I know. That's going to attract. I'll put a Facebook ad to that one, and we're going to have like killer viewership. So, all right, ladies. Till next Thursday. Parrish, thank you so much for joining us this week.
For having me.
All right. Bye.